Awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. How are ya? We're doing great. Thank you so much for being here on this not so sunny afternoon and braving the ice and the cold. So my name is Alleigh Daniels. I am the executive director of Daniels Place here in North Manchester. This is my office administration and lead DSP, Katie Cumberland. And we're going to share with you guys a little bit today about Daniels Place. Just to get the cat out of the bag and the elephant in the room, I am Brian Daniels' daughter. Many of you know who Brian is. He wishes he could be here with you today as well, but he had other obligations, so he can catch the live stream later. So, how many of you have heard of Daniels Place? Everyone has. Wonderful, except for you, sir. That's all right. No. So Daniels Place was started 5.5 years ago, almost 6 years. They were started by Cheryl Working, Cheryl is a resident here in North Manchester. And Cheryl had a son and a daughter named Aaron and Daniel. And Daniel was born with a different ability. Daniel was born very small, and some developmental delays were going on. Daniel he is 25, and he still does not have a diagnosis. How my path crossed with Daniel was 3 years old, and he was 11 pounds, and he entered into my mom's preschool classroom. Cheryl gladly went, "Here you go, have a great day," and walked away, and since then it's been history. She didn't walk away. She was like, "He's yours now." So my mom was the one who taught him to walk and taught him to talk and did all the preschool things, that a preschool teacher does. Now Daniel doesn't stop talking, and Cheryl threatens me daily to send him home to live with my mom. She taught him to talk. She can live with him now. But Daniel's a vivacious young man. Daniel loves to go out and about and be in the community. He loves to help. He loves to clean. That's one of his favorite things to do. But when it came to Cheryl and her wanting to explore the world with her daughter Erin, that was having some little bit of a limitation there. When that limitation came to fruition, Cheryl wanted to go visit Erin in Lima, Peru. And what do you do with Dan? Dan couldn't go hike like they wanted to. He couldn't go do a zip line. He couldn't handle a multi-hour plane ride, and who knows what would have happened. But it's also one of those, Cheryl's never put limits on Dan, but she kind of knew his capabilities and wanted him to succeed at his own thing and his own pace. So that's when Cheryl kind of started to look around and go, what do I do with him? If I were to spend a week away, nobody's here to take care of him. I can't send him to an aunt's house. He's going to knock over a lamp that's an artifact, and we can't replace that. So what do? She found an organization in Bern, Indiana called Agape. Agape was started 30 years ago, and Agape is kind of our beacon of how we are modeling our own organization. So they are a respite care organization as well. They do short-term care for the long-term caregiver, and that is also what we do here at Daniels Place. Who we are. I will read this off for you. At Daniels Place, our mission is to provide exceptional, compassionate care to individuals with disabilities of all ages, ensuring their well-being and dignity while offering their caregivers the vital opportunity to rest and rejuvenate. We are dedicated to creating a safe, fun, and inclusive environment where every individual receives personalized support, promoting physical, emotional, and social wellness. Through our commitment to excellence and community, we strive to enhance the quality of life for both clients and their families. So with that mission, we're making sure that every guest that enters our building feels successful, that they feel cared for, that they are loved and they are well taken care of. Daniels Place is now residing in the first level of Zion Lutheran Church here in town. Is anybody a member of Zion Lutheran? Oh, no, but you've been there? Okay. So we're in the first level there. And we have taken several of the, not several, 2, 3 of the rooms to model those and make them look just like a home environment. There's a TV, there's couches. For the little ones that come in, there are toys. For some of our Alzheimer's and dementia guests that come in, there's yarn and sensory objects for them to touch and to hold and to play with to kind of bring back and spark back some of those memories. So what is respite care? Can anyone tell me what respite care is if they know? Becky? You're nodding your head. What is respite care? Absolutely. Care for the caregiver, rest, and absolutely. So a lot of people who have any sort of physical or developmental disabilities, there's something called day services. Day services typically operate Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's wonderful. There is an opportunity for that young man or that young woman or that adult to go and to have something to do during those operating hours, those office hours, Monday through Friday. But what if mom needs to go run errands in the evening because she's got a big dinner to cook on the weekend? But she doesn't want to take that low functioning autistic kid who is very overstimulated and cannot communicate that they are frustrated and has a behavior at the grocery store. What do? Day service isn't going to provide that. That's where Daniel's Place gets the opportunity to go, hey, we are able to take on your child so that, or your young adult, or your great aunt who still is living with you. And so that we can take on and we can provide them the safe environment for them to go and run grocery errands, so that they can go enjoy dinner with friends, so that they can have a date night out. Or my favorite thing, they can go and take a bubble bath and not have to worry about the kitchen being set on fire. So what makes Daniel's Place unique? We provide care for any age. So we will take any guest, and we refer to anybody who comes in to have our services. They are a guest, so be our guest. They're not a client, they are not a resident, they are our guest. And we want them to feel at home in our environment. So we take anyone of any age. That is as young as birth, if there is a defect, if there is a diagnosis that they need somebody to help take care of that individual, we will help, all the way up till end of life. Not everybody wants to have a nursing home or have a retirement community, or they can't afford it. And that's what's kind of sets Daniel's Place apart. We've had a couple guests, and I will let Katie elaborate on a little bit more of their stories. But they weren't quite ready to put mom into a nursing home. They weren't quite ready to put mom into a retirement community. They still wanted to make sure that they got every last bit of love and compassion and care with their mom in their home. And so that's what makes Daniel's Place set apart a little bit. We're able to provide so that they can still have their independence as that long-term caregiver. We're open 7 days a week, 363 days a year, from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. So that goes beyond those hours of day service that are only from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. We are open for guests on Saturdays and Sundays. We will adapt for guests. Say the parents go on to a date night in downtown Fort Wayne and they go to a comedy club. Well, that comedy club didn't get out until midnight. We will accommodate and make sure that those parents enjoy the full extent of their evening, and we will extend those hours so that the parents can have that full night out. We will be open until they are there to pick up their child or their young adult. We take loved ones while their primary caregivers are working. So, and this is something that we'll get into, I think, in the next 2 slides. We don't take the Medicare or Medicaid waiver. Has anybody had to mess with the Medicaid and Medicaid waiver? You did? How was your experience? Was it a good experience messing with the waiver? Or was there a lot of red tape? There's a lot of red tape with the Medicaid and Medicare waivers, and especially it's true with respite care. So respite care for Medicaid and Medicare cannot be provided during operational hours. So, so we have one child right now who comes in, and she is our guest while her mom can go to work. Respite care for Medicaid and Medicare does not provide that. The waiver has many loopholes and red tape and would not say that those are respite care hours. Work is not respite according to those waivers. So, but we here at Daniel's Place, that does qualify for us. We are a sliding scale based, so every amount of pay is going to be based off of the sliding scale. So we take their household income and versus how many people live in that household, and there's a formula that we use to tell you what your hourly rate is going to be. That hourly rate can be as low as $1 an hour and as much as $15 an hour. With that being said, everybody's like, well, that's not a functional business. Most of our money we get from, we do fundraisers and we do grants and get community support. That is how we are funded. Without the amazing people of Wabash County, without many grants throughout the United States, we wouldn't be able to operate. We're not based on what the income is of our families, because respite care is something that should be provided for everybody, no matter what their socioeconomic needs are. And then I will have Katie take it over.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Want to go until 5 till 4 take a few questions.
Okay. Okay, I'm Katie Cumberland, and I get to work at Daniel's Place. I actually I just feel really privileged that I get to work there, because it's not work when you're getting to do something that you're helping others. So this is our team. Does anybody know what DSP stands for? I guess it probably says it up there, maybe. Maybe it doesn't. You know what it stands for? Do you want to share? Do you know what it stands for?
I know when I was a student at the university.
Oh, okay. So direct support professional is what that stands for. Most of our guests, we probably are 1-to-1 ratio, 1-to-2. It just kind of depends on what their needs are. So that makes us a little different. So whether we're working with somebody who's younger, we're working with somebody who is older, sometimes at a day service, you don't get that attention. And so I like to talk to families and tell them that when their loved one is going to come, that we are going to sit with them and we're going to do what their families want us to do. So, for example, we had an elderly lady that came in. Her daughter brought her in, and she was like, well, she doesn't like do anything. She just wants to sit, and she does nothing. So one of our DSPs, more than one, but one particular DSP, really wanted to find stuff that she liked to do. And so she just was kind of racking her brain. She'd bring in different things, and she ended up bringing in it's the stickers by numbers. Do you guys know? Anybody know what I'm talking about? The stickers by numbers? Anyway, you take off these stickers and you put them on, you make a picture. And anyway, she loved that. Well, we would have never known that if it was just, you didn't get that personal connection. So I'm thankful that we get to do that. And it makes the families happy, because they're busy. Whether it's work or they're doing other things. Sometimes it's hard to just sit and see exactly what they like. We see that with the kids as well. We will do something with them that a parent will be like, I didn't even know that was something they were interested in or they liked. And so it brings me joy to see them have joy and to see them have rest. And we have a family that works a lot when they bring their child in, and when they actually come in and they're like, we're using it today for respite. I'm just like, yay, I'm so happy you're using it for respite, because you need that. I can't imagine that. I mean, I'm a mom, I've got young kids, and they went through their phase where I'm like, okay, I got to be with them all the time. Well, these families don't ever go out of that. You know, they're with them all the time, all the time. So I'm so thankful that we get to provide that. I think that was the majority of that page. Here's just some different pictures. One of my favorite things that one of our kids said just made me so happy is he said, "I love coming to Daniel's place because it feels like home." And that's our whole mission is, you know, we want it to feel like home. We want everyone to be comfortable there. Here's just some different, some of our families have written in some of their testimonials. Do you want me to read those? Okay. All right, I'm going to read from Hugh. I was taking care of my 88-year-old mother who has dementia for over a year without any outside support. Once a week, I got a 4-hour break when a house cleaning service came. It was not enough help. I was in need of respite and had yet to discover Daniel's place. Through word of mouth, I finally found what I needed, a break or two, now 3 days a week. Truly, this has been a godsend and a miracle in my life. Some of our families, what we found is they don't have family here. They may be moved here from someplace else, and they don't have family. I have, sometimes we come across somebody and they're like, I can't afford yet to take them to a nursing home or to take them even to a day service at a nursing home. So this is like that, like kind of what Alleigh said, this is a really good option there. I'm going to read what Micah and Molly, the immense relief knowing that my small town has a specialized care service for my daughter is simply amazing. It allows us to feel a sense of normalcy, and that is quite a wonderful thing. I feel like I talked kind of fast. So, you guys have any questions?
Yes.
Can you take someone on an emergency situation?
That's you.
Repeat the question.
She wants to know if we could take somebody on an emergency situation. So I have a family right now that has already came in. We already kind of did an interview process. We've gotten information from them, and I don't know when they might come in. And he kind of said that, what if all of a sudden I have an appointment? Could I call in and have her come in? And as long as I can have a DSP there, yes. And we try to meet those needs to the best of our ability. I mean, it is rare that I would tell somebody, I'm sorry, we have to cancel or we just don't have someone, because we really try our best to make sure that everyone is taken care of. But if it's somebody we've never seen, is that what you're asking? Like we've never seen, you know, I don't know. Could you answer that? I'm not sure.
If it's somebody that we have never seen, preferably we would like for them to get in and meet with us as soon as possible, so that when those emergency situations do arise, absolutely, we will be fully ready. So in our intake process, we want to know any health conditions. Is there a fall risk? Is there a seizure risk? Is there any medications that need to be administered during their stay? And so for an emergency situation, we want to be as best prepared as possible. Safety is our number one thing. And so to be safe for those emergency situations, we want to make sure we've got the big picture. So if there's somebody that you have in mind specifically, okay.
Let me add to that. I'm sorry.
But yes, we do take emergency situations, but more than we need them to be gone through our intake process first.
So part of that intake process, I guess I didn't really touch on it, is if you had somebody come in, you would fill out a packet. You would let us know what are things that they like, that they don't like, if they have seizures, if they have medications. All of those things help our DSPs to be the best that they can be with them. We also talk to you about what it is that you would like us to work on with them. If you're like, I really want them to work on, their memory. So can you play a game with them? They like playing this, they like doing that. We really, I feel like, cater more to the families, exactly what they want. If it's somebody who's younger, maybe it's, having them write out alphabetical, something, the alphabet or their colors or whatever. And sometimes that's even good for someone who is older. So we really try to go off of those packets. So if we have no information, that would be really hard.
What's your maximum capacity at any one time?
Our maximum capacity at any one time, that is the favorite question for a lot of people. Right now is our slow season, and so we are able to do one-on-one with most every guest. If we've got a sibling group that comes in, we will do 1 to 2. If we have an individual who is in a wheelchair and another individual who just wants to sit on their iPad the whole time, we can also do a 2-to-1 ratio with something like that. Capacity wise is based on need and how things kind of happen when scheduling. Katie does our scheduling, and kind of how that happens is it staggers. So we may have 4 guests in the morning and 10 guests in the afternoon, and it kind of flip flops. So on a day, if you look, it says that we have 14 guests, but not all 14 are there at the same time. So some of those hours overlapped, some of them there's a gap. It just is based upon what the ability is. If we do need to have 2 DSPs to 1 guest, we can also provide for that as well. So it kind of goes back to what that ratio kind of looks like.
I'm curious about the training for the DSPs. What is there training that they can get and that you expect them to be certified in?
Yes. So we do some, do you want to flip back to that screen? We do first aid right up there. It says we do a safety care, which I go down and get training down in Indianapolis, and then I come back and train them on safety care. I train, which is online training before you even get hired. You've got to go through that training process. And then we have somebody that comes in and goes over CPR, first aid, and the AED, which you would know more about that than me. But so we have training on all of that. And then once a month, we do just some training, professional development training just on our own. If our DSPs, I feel like Alleigh does a great job. If our DSPs have questions or there's concerns or, hey, how can I help this guest? I feel like we all brainstorm together and come together and figure that out.
Yes, Gary.
Do you want to say anything about your future plans?
I was going to.
Okay.
I think this link, did you have a question? Yeah, Carolyn has a question.
We'll get there at the end.
So you have a cook who feeds them lunch, breakfast, supper?
Are you offering?
I was just wondering, that could be kind of a hairy time for you.
Absolutely. So currently we do not have a chef or a cook at our facility. What that is we have people who may be there from 8 a.m. until 10 a.m. And so mom may bring some snacks, or mom may drop somebody, I keep saying mom, it could be anybody, that may drop off from 11 until 4 p.m. They're going to provide them some sort of food for themselves, some sort of nutritional substance. We have a lot of picky eaters. And so not having a chef or a cook or a kitchen right now, it's kind of nice because the caregivers are able to provide what that individual is going to want to eat for their time. It could be anything from apple slices to a McDonald's Happy Meal. So right now, no. There's also, we want to be conscious of allergies. Some of our guests have food allergies, and so we keep everybody's food separated and make sure that everything is stored if it needs to be in the refrigerator, if it needs to be warmed up to a specific temperature, we'll make sure that that is done. Yes.
Do you have geographic limitations? How far away can you live and be in food?
We do not have any geographic limitations. We have guests that come from Kokomo. We have guests that come from Columbia City. We have referrals from our sister organization, I guess it would be lack of a better term, Agape over in Bern. They have referred a couple guests to us as well. We have a guest that actually comes from Florida. Their family has a house up here on one of the lakes, and while the family is at the lakes and they need some respite care, they will bring their individual to Daniel's place, and we will provide a couple hours for them so that they can do what they need to do with their family up at the lakes, and then they drive back down home to Florida. So, anything else before I get to Gary's question? Awesome. How many of you have lived in Manchester for at least 20 years? Wonderful. How many of you know, so you would know exactly where I'm talking about when I say the old bowling alley? Yes, everybody does. If you go to Jazzercise at that bowling alley, well, then you would know very well. That is where our new building will be located. We are hoping to break ground this year. What that looks like and what that timeline is, we are still up in the air with a couple grants on getting our T's crossed and our I's dotted to make sure that that can happen efficiently and effectively, and so that we execute and make sure things are very good and clean. So when we build and how we build, we'll be right there. We will be taking down that building, and then we also have the 2 lots to the west of that were Dr. Desibus's. So those are our lots, those 2 lots where there's trees, not the building that's there and that's for sale. We don't have that, but we will be building right there. So it'll be great to be super close to the park. Hopefully working with the Park and Rec Center, we will be able to get in some adaptable equipment for adaptable swings. So anyone in a wheelchair can still strap in and do a swing. Some sensory boards that out on the playground for anybody who needs to have a sensory moment. Will be then a block from Strauss Peabody Aquatic Center where they have the splash pad. We'll be right across the street from the Manchester Early Learning Center, caddy corner from the public library, and just a block or just a couple blocks away from downtown where we can walk to get ice cream or do whatever shenanigans we need to do downtown. So it is a perfect location. Cheryl spec'd that one out very well. I'll tell a little tale on her for that one of her and Aaron when they dreamed up Daniel's place. We just happened to be driving by the bowling alley when they had that conversation. They go, wouldn't that be just a great location for Daniel's place? Wouldn't that be just a, and they got to talking a little more, and in that same conversation drove themselves to Crossroads Bank and bought that building. So it's fun to see how things are coming full circle. Any other questions? Pardon? Oh, I did not. With that building, we will be able to offer overnight stays. So that was that your question? I'm very sorry. No, so with our new building, and I've looked at the floor plans all day today. We have a meeting tonight about it. So with this building, we will be able to have overnight guests. We will have 6 bedrooms. Those 6 bedrooms will be able to accommodate those guests. So we will be able to take individuals during the day, but we will only be able to take 6 overnights. Agape over in Bern, they are currently booked out through August right now. So the need for the overnight stays is huge. The need for overnight respite is going to help be met. They are the first organization in the state of Indiana. We will be the second, and here in North Manchester, Indiana. So yeah, we will have, I was just getting to it. I was looking at you going, now are you going to ask me about the kitchen, but you got her. So we will have a full kitchen. We will have opportunities for life skills for our guests to go to the grocery store, help pick out what we're going to be cooking for dinner, have the opportunity to kind of help prepare meals together. So yes, we will be able to provide food at that point. We will also have 2 washers and 2 dryers. We want our guests to go home with clean clothes. We don't want mom and dad or siblings to pick up their specific loved one from Daniel's place and go, oh, I just got done with a cruise and now I've got to go wash all my clothes. Got to go wash all of Daniel's clothes. What is good, no, we want that guest to go home just like they came, clean clothes, clean body. And so we will have 2 handicap accessible bathrooms. We'll have a wheelchair shower, and then we will also have I'm going to forget the name. It looks like a fancy spaceship of a tub. So, yeah. Anything else? Awesome. Thank you. No. There is stuff out on the table out there for anybody who has any interest or knows of a family or friends that may be interested. So please help yourselves.